What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. I sat down and I watched the Tszyu Bakhram Murtaziev fight, and I really just, looked at Tim. I looked at both the guys, of course, but I looked at Tim. And after Tim's last fight, where he got cut open and he lost, his title to Fundora, people wanted to see, what does Tszyu look like? Okay, now, like, how does he come back? And, is he like on that rampage where he's just going to start going through guys again? Well, when I look at this fight, before I did the video, like I said, I'm not a guy that just watched the highlights. Highlights can be even edited to make a person that really lost a fight look like they won. I mean, things, you have highlights. People show that do favoritism. People can actually make a highlight look, they can make it look like it was something more than what it was. So you watch the whole fight. So I watched the fight, and a lot of people were saying Tszyu should retire. It's over for Tim. He's washed up. We just seen Anthony Joshua lose, to Daniel Dubois, and I'm saying, I don't know. That could be the case. He could be washed. That could just be the. I don't know. We have to see. If the game is about you lose a fight, all of a sudden you're done. Then, I mean, what's the purpose of being a boxer? I mean, when Roberto Duran got knocked out in 2 rounds by Thomas Hearns, did anybody say that it's time for Duran to retire just because he lost a fight? Was Ken Norton supposed to retire because he got knocked out in, I think, the first round against Ernie Shavers? I mean, was Joe Frazier supposed to retire because he got destroyed twice by Foreman? Was Ken Norton supposed to retire because he got destroyed in 4 rounds by George Foreman? I mean, things do happen. Should Thomas Hearns have retired because he got destroyed, got knocked out by Marvin Hagler? Listen, you can put up a fight and still get knocked out early. You can put up a fight and still get knocked out, period. We saw Michael Nunn outboxing James Toney all night long. He started to get a little tired. James Toney kept pressing, kept coming. He did what he was supposed to do, and he got Michael Nunn out of there. That doesn't mean Nunn should have retired, So when I look at Tszyu's situation, what I saw in Tszyu just fought, to me, with pride and ego. No real smarts. It was one of those situations where a guy that doesn't like to go backwards, he likes to come forward and impose his will. He's in there with the guy that is of the same mindset. So instead of him using smarts, he went in there and fought like, nah, I'm not backing up. I'm going to go through this guy. When he got dropped, he got caught that first left hook. You would think that he would, or his corner at least would wake him up like, all right, look, this is why you got caught. Okay, we need you to be smart. But he just kept coming forward, trying to impose his will. And, Bakhram wasn't letting him. He just wasn't letting him. And then the fact is he was able to hit Tszyu with 1 clean shot and knock him down, 4 times? He was able to just keep knocking him down. So he knew, okay, I can hurt Tim with 1 punch. I probably can knock him out with 1 punch. So bottom line, he wasn't going to change what he was doing. He had no reason to. Now, the question about Tszyu is, can he approach, a fight differently? Whether it's a rematch with Bakhram or anybody that is able to take his punch plus avoid his punch but get to him. I don't see Tszyu being that guy. I see Tszyu as being one of those guys that just fought the way he did. Like, you know what? This is what I do. I come forward and I come to try to decapitate you. Now, if he can't do it, time will tell. Okay, time will tell. I don't see Tszyu being a strategic, very, ring savvy type, high IQ type guy. I see Tszyu as being what he's always been, a guy that comes forward and he basically comes to knock you out. When you have those type of skills, they should come out. You should know when to let those skills out. I mean, when you go tit for tat with a person, let's look at it like this. You get knocked down. What was it? The second round, right? You got knocked down the second round. Okay. The first knockdown comes in the second round. Why do fighters feel the need that, okay, you knock me down, I have to immediately knock you down too? You know? And of course, they're not trying to knock you down so much. They're trying to knock you out. So, but bottom line is, why is it that I have to get it? Like, okay, instead of saying, all right, you know what? Let me take this round by round. Let me start to break this guy down. And the knockout will come. And if it doesn't, okay, cool. But as long as I get the win. I don't see Tszyu is having that mindset. Now, you take Anthony Joshua getting stopped by Daniel Dubois. AJ went in and just fought very stupidly from the very first round. And you look at that and go, damn, AJ, you're a veteran now, man. You're not a new fighter. You are a veteran now. Your confidence, your IQ should be consistent. You just came off with 2 impressive wins, right? You look good in those wins. And now you come in here and fight from round 1 with your hands down, acting unsure, pawing with your jab. Your footwork was slow. You know, your feet were all unsteady the way you were, nothing looked right. Nothing was clicking. From the very first round, he didn't look good. So this is where you look and it's like, okay, you never hear me like debate a person to say somebody's career is over when people say things like that in these type of situations, because you really don't know. It very well could be the case that, guess what, AJ has already peaked. He's not going to get any better than what he is. That could be the case. AJ was a solid fighter. It's just he came up short in this fight. Is that the case? Or is it because, guess what? Nope. He's just deteriorating. That could be it. That could be it. You look at a guy like, even the guy who wins his last fight. Like we talk about the Charlo, Jamal looked very good in his last fight. But he's not in the ring. He's out too much. Too many personal problems going on. Things going like they just keeping him out of the ring. A guy like Jared Anderson, who says he doesn't want to fight for a long time. You understand what I'm saying? I just gave you 3 different reasons as to why someone is going through what they're going through, or why they look the way they do in the ring. Could possibly be because of things they're going through that's keeping them out the ring. Sometimes a guy's rich enough to where I don't even have to fight anymore. I just choose to. The hunger is not what it was. Whatever. We don't know. Jamal Charlo wins his last fight. He's still undefeated, but guess what? At some point, when you're not in the ring anymore, it can catch up to you. Errol Spence, he got decimated by Terrence Crawford. He has not been back in the ring. We haven't seen him train or do anything. I don't care how much you like Errol Spence. How can you not think his desire and his hunger can't be the same? Because he's simply not doing the things he used to do. You don't get so good to the point I don't have to train no more, or I can just half-ass train. Like the nonsense Tyson Fury was talking about Usyk. I can just give me a week, 2 weeks, or whatever it was he said, and I'll beat Tyson, Alexander Usyk. And he went in there after calling the man a little middleweight and all that. He went in there and fought on the back foot like I said he was going to do. He fought Deontay Wilder on the front foot like I said he should have. Then he realized after he got dropped and got up and started backing Wilder up, this dude can't fight backing up at all. So until he knocked Wilder down, the whole thing was to try not to get caught by the right hand. You see? But one thing I always say, I'm like, Fury is 250-something pounds. 6'9". Man, he need to be with that long reach. He need to be backing dudes up and trying to walk dudes down smartly. Not recklessly, but smartly. And Wilder can't box at all. So why is he going backwards against Wilder? He's making Wilder stand there longer than he should because he's not giving Wilder anything to really worry about. And fighting on the back foot is just touch, move, trying not to commit to anything with any real power in it. You understand what I mean? He go forward, Wilder with them little skinny legs. I'm breaking this shit down. Oh, no, Aries, come on, man. Wilder this, Wilder, if he go forward and Wilder catch, yeah, I know. Now, what happens when he goes in there and he realizes, you know what, I need to walk Wilder down. What happened? Yeah, Looked real different, didn't it? Really different. Okay. But at the same time, y'all, this is what I'm saying. I'm not going to say a guy should retire because they lose. Even when they lose, it look bad. We need to see what happens next. If it's in you, you'll find what you need to find to bounce back. If it's not, then it's time to pack it up. If you happen to be one of those fighters that stay in there way past your prime and continue to fight and lose to people that you normally would have beat like Roy Jones did, hey, we saw Mildred Taylor go through that. There's several fighters. I remember when I saw Pernell Whitaker. Last fight, I remember him having, I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy was called the Pink Panther, and that was on Tuesday Night Fights. And when I saw Pernell, it was crazy because I didn't even know who was fighting. I just tuned in, sat down, kicked back. I'm home that night, and all of a sudden, here goes Pernell Whitaker fighting on Tuesday Night Fights. I'm like, wow. And, Tuesday Night Fights, I used to love watching it because it's boxing. But when you are someone that has made it to the level that Pernell did, and now you end up on Tuesday Night Fights, that means your career took a turn for the worse. And so sometimes that's just what happens. I mean, you can be great from 24 to 28, and then everything else is downhill. Some guys can be great from 24 to 38. Just saying, it happens. I don't know. For Tszyu, he was taking the shots and he didn't show fear of getting caught, getting hurt. He kept coming forward, but that's the thing. He fought the same way. Now you look at Errol Spence, same thing with Crawford. He kept coming forward. He never looked scared. He couldn't find anything else to do. He couldn't find anything else to do other than what he was doing. He kept trying. He never stopped trying, but he was getting hurt to the body. He was getting hurt upstairs. He was not getting just outboxed, but he was even being outfought. And the thing was, he looked every bit as like an amateur as AJ did against Dubois. The way he was fighting was only the fight lasted longer than AJ and Dubois did. But he looked every bit as the way he was throwing his shots, the way he was standing there taking shots, the way he couldn't get out of the way of anything. He was just there. And where's the ring IQ? Where was the, hey, look, man, stop. You're jabbing. Even when you try to double and triple jab, you're not really trying to land anything. And you're not trying to set anything up differently. You're just doing the same repetitive thing. Crawford's too sharp for that. Where was that? And as a fighter, it should be in you already. It should already be in you. So we don't know what Tszyu is. That's 2 losses back to back, but you got to look at what happened in the Fundora fight. And in this fight, it was just like, he didn't look sluggish, slow, none of that. He just looked like he fought the wrong fight. It was just the wrong game plan. And, and see, this is what happens when you don't have a high ring IQ. You can look impressive. You can look scary to people, because you're knocking everybody out. But what happens when you hit a guy and all of a sudden he's still standing there and he's bringing the fight back to you. So now people can't say, oh, see, if he had fought Keith Thurman, you don't know that Keith Thurman would have been able to do anything to Tszyu. You can't say that's what would have happened. When it comes down to it, we haven't seen Keith Thurman in a long ass time. Keith Thurman's done. All right, he's done. I told you guys before, he's too injury prone, and he keeps saying the same delusional thing every time Keith Thurman fights. What does Keith Thurman say? You still haven't seen the best Keith Thurman yet. Keith Thurman's done. Okay? Keith Thurman will not get in the ring and fight and be the same Keith Thurman that he was before. At his very best. He's done. Y'all can continue to believe this nonsense that Keith Thurman still is Keith Thurman, that he's still one time he's going to, okay, whatever. He's done. Keith Thurman is done. Do y'all forget that he lost to Manny Pacquiao when he fought? Do y'all forget that? And do you forget that the last fight he had was against Barrios or whatever? Okay, so and went the distance with the guy that was stopped by a 135 pounder. That wasn't weight drained and none of that, but was stopped but went the distance. But it was because of ring rust. Okay, well, how much more ring rust you think he has on him now, right? He's done. Keith is done. I've been telling y'all. What's his name? Adrian Broner. Done. Nah, I think AB, you know what? No, you're telling me what you want. I'm telling you, he's done. Let me tell you something as a fighter, man. And this is the difference, okay? This is different from football. Any sport you play, you can be done and it can show on the court. Any sport, like football, tennis, any of those sports, like I said, it can show. The one difference in combat sports, okay, especially boxing, when you get up to train, it's grueling. It's grueling, training itself. So now when you add the sparring and the constant sparring, you have to love this shit. You can't get to, oh, I'm rich now. I don't have one. Because once that starts to set in, that's the one thing that, like I say, see, this is where I tell you, with people, they get it fucked up. You've heard several people. You've heard many boxers, trainers, different entertainers say, yo, Floyd Mayweather trained like he's broke, bro. Do you know what that means? Floyd not only was super smart, and I don't give a fuck with none of y'all, so you can hate him all you want. You should grow up really and stop acting like little bitches with all the I can't stand because whatever. You know, y'all too emotional. Yeah, y'all weird, man. But bottom line is, no matter what you say about the dude, that motherfucker was dedicated. And that is the exact opposite of what most fighters do. How many times did Sugar Ray Leonard retire? And when Ray Leonard came back, I remember Ray Leonard, I forgot the guy's name. Was it Davis? Somebody he fought. He fought at 160 pounds. Ray Leonard, he had on all black. And he was saying at 160, nah, I don't think, either I retire or I don't fight at 160. He didn't feel comfortable at 160. Every time Ray Leonard had a bad showing, the first thing came out of Ray Leonard's mouth was, I think maybe it's time to retire. That's one of the things I didn't respect about Terry Norris's win, is because they tried to completely take credit from Terry's win. Because before the fight happened, Ray's going to be too smart, too sharp. Terry's a good fighter, don't get it wrong, but Ray is on another level. Ray this, Ray that. Ray was my dude, man. Terry Norris was my dude. But when he lose, yeah, it's probably time to retire. Stop that bullshit, man. Stop it. Or if Ray was young, well, he wasn't younger. And he was aware he wasn't younger. Like when he fought Donnie Lalonde and he got dropped and he was down on the cards. When Ray got up, when Ray came back, chipped him down, broke him down and won, what did everybody say? That's a testament to his greatness. Great fighters find a way. True. So why when he fought Terry Norris, all of a sudden now it's time to retire? And let's be real. Terry was beating him way worse than Donnie Lalonde was. Yeah, but that's the point. He would have, no. See, you assume shit. Just like nobody assumed Lalonde was going to drop Ray Leonard in the fight. Nobody assumed Donnie Lalonde was going to outbox Ray Leonard and Ray Leonard was going to have to come from behind and knock him out. So I didn't respect how they tried to, shit on Terry Norris's win. And they even put a video package together of Ray Leonard, all of his losses. And it was so weird because they never showed the Terry Norris fight. They skipped to Hector Camacho. I said, wow, ain't that a bitch? So what was this where, it's like they wanted to act like the Terry Norris fight never even happened. Do you know why that is? Because Ray was still fucking good. That's why. So when we talk all this shit about, well, Ray was a shell. Okay, then stop comparing Ray Leonard at 34 to Floyd Mayweather at 38. Because if that's the case, that means Floyd would have mopped the fucking floor with Ray. 4 years older, but he would have mopped the floor with Ray. See, this is what I'm saying. So y'all say this shit in defense of a fighter. Stop acting like little bitches, taking everything personal. Just say this shit for what it is. Ray Leonard was a great fighter. He did what he did. He was still good, but he just got his ass whooped. Now you skip over motherfucking, if for him to lose to Terry Norris and Ray was 34, how the fuck did you expect him to come back at 40 and beat Hector Camacho? And how old was Camacho at that time? You see, so this is what I'm saying. People say shit and the math just don't add up, man. So when we look at why fighters lose, only the fighter, no matter what we think, we can go by what we see. Only that fighter knows what's in here, and in here at that time. And when you look at the age that a fighter, like I said earlier, you can be great from 24 to 28. Some people can be great from 24 to 38, from 17 to 30, whatever. Just, okay, everybody don't have the same longevity. So this is what I'm saying. And when I bring up things like, well, you can't compare Ray Leonard to Floyd at 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, then if that's the case, if he was washed up, because at 36 years old, Mayweather was beating the shit out of Canelo Alvarez, who already had over 40 fights himself, but, well, he didn't have the experience. Well, Terry Norris, he had 300 and something, I think 319 amateur fights, something like that. But he only had 20-something pro fights at the time that he fought against Ray Leonard. So he still was way off the mark. Okay, he still had considerably less fights than Canelo did when he fought against Floyd. So this is what I'm saying. All of this shit about trying to make excuses for someone or trying to act like certain things didn't happen because you like this fighter more, that's stupid to me. That's not what it's about. So I'm not making excuses for anybody, but I'm also not gonna sit here and just start making claims that a person should retire just because. Which is why, like I said before, for people that saying AJ versus Wilder should happen now, what the fuck does it matter if it happens now? The only thing that happens is AJ losing. Wilder fans feel like he has they feel more confident now that maybe he can beat AJ now. Maybe he could beat him. Look at how AJ looked against Dubois. That's about it. In terms of Anthony Joshua being no good no more, that could be the case. But you guys were saying that Wilder should retire. So this is why I say, if this is like a retirement match, if this is a send-off match, they say, okay, since it never happened, let's get it in. May the best man win. Okay, cool. But either one of those guys, if the case is Wilder's done and AJ knocks him out, so what? If the case is AJ done and Wilder knocks him out, so what? Just for either one of them to get a bag, then go into another fight and then get knocked out by somebody else. I mean, they keep trying to give Wilder title shots. They keep offering him, even at this Bridgerweight stuff or whatever. So with AJ, it's like he had a bad showing and he should retire. Tim Tszyu had a bad showing. He should retire. And even if Tim lost, but was able to do different things, and he just still lost a tough fight, then it's not a bad showing. It's just that the better man won due to him having a better game plan, sticking to it, being sharper, whatever it may be. He was able to take advantage. The reason it was a bad showing is because Tim fought one-dimensional and didn't try to do anything different at all. And going forward, what happens when you fight a guy like that, you couldn't even hurt him. You couldn't do anything to him. To really, not that he didn't feel your punches, but like you never knocked him off his feet, never had him buzzing and in trouble. But bottom line is he beat you at your own style. So psychologically, it's just like I remember Julian Jackson. What's the guy's name that he fought? The same guy that ended up in the coma that fought Nigel Benn. And anyways, I remember when Jackson fought him, that his usual style wasn't going to beat him. He was able to take Jackson's punch, and Jackson was known to be pound for pound like one of the hardest punchers out there, and he couldn't hurt him. And see, the thing about Jackson is we already knew in terms of boxing, as a puncher, that was his thing. You feared him and stayed away from his power. But as a boxer, no, that's what he lacked. He wasn't the best boxer. He wasn't that. But he fought someone that could take his punch. He fought someone that could give it back to him. I can take what you can't take. And that's what happened. And I feel like with Tim Tszyu, he's going to have to learn to add something to what he already does. And when you've been fighting a certain way for a long time, what's going to either happen is your team is going to keep you away from certain styles, or you're going to be put in there with guys that are going to, he's already been exposed. You know that hey, he's one dimensional. But you're gonna go in there with guys that's going to exploit those weaknesses in you. And if you can't find anything else, we saw Chavez when he lost to Frankie Randall. Then we saw Chavez all of a sudden trying to skip around, trying to dance and box, and that just wasn't Chavez. He's been doing what he was doing for far too long. So now what happens is you can, even in training, get in there and skip around and move. They had the sparring partners, not go so hard on you. They want to press you, or they want you to do certain things to get your confidence up. But then as soon as the pressure is real, because boxers are not stupid, we know, when we know what's real, we know what's what. Now somebody's trying to take your head off. You see, your sparring partner wasn't trying to break your ribs, wasn't trying to break your jaw. Your sparring partner was in there trying to give you work to try to get you used to doing a different style. But now when that pressure's on and it's really happening and you can't do it, it's like, damn, okay. You resort right back to what you're used to. And when you see certain fighters, every time they're in a real good fight, they're always bloody. What does that tell you? They can't avoid getting hit. So, yeah, at some point, that iron jaw, boom, boom, damn, all of a sudden you're down. All of a sudden now, everything else that kicks in. I didn't see a Father Time situation with Tszyu. I didn't see any, it's just, I just saw a guy who fought too eager to get a knockout, fought too much with his, fought too much with ego, fought too much with just not being smart, and doesn't really have a high ring IQ. Just like with now, for example, with Keith Thurman. Yeah. Between the two, Keith has shown to be a better boxer than Tszyu. But Keith Thurman is physically too beat up. He's too beat up, and at the same time, he's not going to have to worry about Keith Thurman's power like he would with this guy Bakhram. He wasn't going to have to worry about, Keith, the way Keith's saying he was going to fight, Keith's body can't sustain that shit. You think Keith going to go in there for 12 rounds and dance and move, stick, and just box, and it's just going to be an easy night? No, Tim's going to chop him down. And Keith Thurman has been hurt by body shots by much smaller guys that's not nearly as strong. It doesn't matter because we'll never know. But what I'm saying, I don't see the same threat with Bakhram as with Keith Thurman. You understand what I mean? And for Keith Thurman, he's not that durable, man. He's really not. He's not what he was. And this is what people are failing to realize. Just like you guys that are sitting up here, because Mike Tyson's finally going to get in there with this Jake Paul guy. They're still trying to build this damn fight. Mike Tyson has so many different physical elements that's been holding this fight off from happening. And y'all still, for some reason, think Mike Tyson is just still going to be Mike Tyson. That, at the end of the day, y'all, this is a gladiator sport, man. And you can't go in that ring second guessing yourself. If you are any way, shape, or form doubting yourself, it's going to show. I remember Sugar Ray Leonard saying when he was walking to the ring to fight Terry Norris, he said, I felt fine. This is Ray Leonard's own words. This is why I said, all you Sugar Ray fans, Sugar Ray was my dude. This is what I'm saying. But y'all be talking, I don't deal with that fanboy shit. He said training camp was great. Everything was on point. My speed, my power, everything. The sharpness, my IQ, everything was fine. Everything. He said, in the dressing room, I felt fine. Everything. I'm ready. He said, as I started walking to the ring, I just got this feeling like I was going to lose. You know how many fighters have said that shit? Not just Ray Leonard. Do you want to know what that is? That's reality setting in. I've got myself into a fight that I was never sure I could win. I thought I could, but was I really sure? No, I was doubting. The ego says, nah, you can win. He's just another opponent. Now, you understand? They're wrestling with this back and forth. They don't say it to them to their team. They don't say it to nobody else, but they say it to themselves. And they're going. So now, damn, the moment of truth is coming. And the closer you get to that ring, you already know who's in there waiting for you. You know what's going to happen. They're going to go through the routine. They're going to say the judges' names, the referee names. They're going to say all the, the rules and regulations and acknowledge the state commission, all that. And guess what? After all of that, they're going to say your name, say your opponent's name. You guys are going to come face to face, bam. And guess what? Now, you got to back this shit up. That's all it is. It's reality setting in. That's all. You don't just feel fine. Everything's perfectly know I'm ready, and all of a sudden I just think I'm gonna lose. No, you knew and sort of threatened him. And this is why when people talk this bullshit about, oh, but if he was younger, well, he wasn't younger. Anybody else who get in the ring and fight, y'all don't make excuses for them, right? Well, he knew he the one accepted the fight, right? Okay, why is it different for Ray Leonard? He accepted the fight. He wanted to fight. Terry didn't want to fight Ray because that was his idol. He didn't want to fight Ray, but fuck it, let's go. Hey, offered, I'm gonna take it. That's all I'm saying, y'all. It's easy for people to say they should retire. And in fact, if for that matter, if he really truly felt he was done, he should have never came back to fight Camacho. It's that simple. It's that simple. So when you say you're done, when you say, oh, I shouldn't have did this, I should have did that, or whatever, okay. It doesn't matter. But you look at the flip side, that's why people keep making videos, even now, saying how Roy Jones was so dominant and Floyd, nobody knew. No, Floyd was on the come up. Why Roy Jones, he's older than, he's considerably older than Floyd. That's all. He was coming up while Roy already had years ahead of him in the sport. This is what people don't acknowledge. They make it seem like Roy and Mayweather are the same age, started fighting the same time, and Roy just, and Mayweather couldn't catch up, and then Roy retired, and then finally, now that he's much older than Mayweather. That's what, every time people say that, it's so funny how y'all don't acknowledge the facts. Y'all just talk about shit and repeat shit that Max Kellerman say and other people say, but y'all don't use your own common sense. He's much older than Floyd Mayweather. So when people say that shit, oh, but nobody even knew. Stop. At the end of the day, it's because of Floyd's accomplishments in the ring, financially, the whole shit that all these fighters was trying to do and they failed. Why people keep making videos trying to say why this person is better than Floyd or why that person. All you're doing is just making videos talking shit. But what are you saying that really makes any sense that even matters? And when Floyd walked away and Floyd decided he's going to do just exhibitions, it's a difference. Everybody's talking about Floyd's broke, he's this, he's that, but then all of a sudden Floyd is making donations. Then all of a sudden you see him buying a brand new $1 million, but he's broke. This is people, that nonsense. Roy Jones said when he did his very last exhibition, he's not fighting against his opponent, he's fighting the IRS. So they're doing it for two different reasons. So Roy is doing it for the reason that y'all claiming on Floyd. Manny Pacquiao was one of the guys that said Floyd is tainting his legacy by doing exhibitions. Now all of a sudden, guess who's doing exhibitions? Yeah, and looked horrible in his last one. So all of this stuff that people say, I don't jump on the bandwagon because everybody's saying something. People could be right. Maybe Tszyu fades off and loses again and again. Who knows? But this is my point. We need to see it first. This generation is just a bunch of quitters, man. As soon as y'all don't want to see a fighter quit in the ring, but yet y'all quick to, oh, he should retire. Okay, then if he should retire, right, and walk away right now, the same people saying that going to say he's a quitter. He had one legitimate loss, then all of a sudden he retires. So it's like people just talk. So we'll see. I don't know what Tszyu is made of. Only Tszyu, he that's something he has to show, but he has to do it for himself, not for the people, for himself. And if it's in him, then it'll show. If he's fading off, and the thing is, like I said, I didn't see like physical limitations with him. I saw mental limitations, like he's one-dimensional. That's all. Nobody never thought he was some world-class boxer. He's a very tough, sturdy guy that comes forward, bring the pressure. And before I close, let me say, I don't think I made my point about Jared Anderson. Part of my point, him saying that he didn't want to fight for a long time. And basically, when you compare the opponents, it's like, well, if you look technically, Jared looked like the sharper fighter between the two, right? him and Bacoli. But Bacoli was battle tested. We didn't know if Anderson would be able to adjust and make the right adjustments. And what we saw was no, he fought very stupidly. And that hunger, that passion, that desire, he don't have that for boxing, which is what I spoke about as well. We've seen a lot of fighters, we don't know what they can stand up to, what they're made of until they get in there, and then guess what? Okay, now he passed that test. Now we know what that person can do. Jared Anderson wasn't that guy. So when we say, if someone says Jared Anderson should retire, that makes a whole lot of sense based on this. He just doesn't have love for boxing. So why are you doing it? Who's going to pay you big money when you don't even want to stick around? And if you can't, when you step up and have, like Charles Martin was a step up in terms of experience. But Charles Martin is a fading shell of himself. So by the time that he fought Jared Anderson, this wasn't impressive to me. The fact he got the win and the fact he won every round he was supposed to. But he was taking some shots from Martin that he shouldn't have even got hit with. And when I watched that, I said, okay, we need to see more. And Jared Anderson has been blaming the promotion for the longest, saying he'll fight anybody. They're the ones that won't give him the guys that he wants. Now he gets Bacoli, he gets embarrassed. And when you don't have desire, when you don't have passion, I don't think you're going to get your ass kicked and all of a sudden, now I have the desire and the passion. No, what happened to him is what he don't want to happen. And I remember him saying in an interview, what if something happened to me in the ring? You know what I'm saying? I got a daughter to take care of. Okay. His case is different from everybody else's. And closest thing would be if it's true that Anthony Joshua has got to the point where he's so rich, he don't have to fight, but he's in there and he wants to fight. But if that would be the case. But AJ showed heart. AJ showed being a true champion. AJ showed all of those things. It just may be fading from him. We don't know. But Tszyu, let's see what he does next, how he looks, what he's able to add to his game, because once again, he's been figured out. So once he get in there with another guy that can punch and realizes that Tszyu is one-dimensional, Tim's going to have the same problem. But anyway, talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.